Guys, there's some crazy things going on right now with the CARES Act, the HEROES Act, the Paycheck Protection Program, the rioters, the looters, the protesters. So in this video, I'm going to try to break down some of the hot points, some of the hot topics going on with these situations. And, like I said, there's just some crazy times that we just never really experienced before. There's up to 40 million unemployed Americans. There's countless Americans that have suffered job losses, foreclosures, bankruptcies. There's broken families. There's depression. There's all these crazy things that are all linked to the whole coronavirus lockdown. And so the HEROES Act is supposed to help alleviate some of those pains and frustration points. The only problem is President Trump. He said this bill is going to be dead on arrival. Of course, Nancy Pelosi knows that. And I think he kind of had some other alternative ways to handle this, but we haven't really found out what that alternative faction is. But anyways, moving forward, Trump and his other supporters, they are talking about having a second stimulus check, but like I said, we just don't have all the details of it. The Paycheck Protection Plan, as you know, was a forgivable loan that employers could apply for and to be able to pay their employees, and they're required to pay their employees 75%. At the new HEROES Act is supposed to change that to where they don't have to pay 75%. There's just a lot going on right now, and that's really why I'm making this video. With the new, it's like a month old, the CARES Act had a $2.2 trillion bill that passed. Well, the new HEROES Act is going to be a $3 trillion. So that's a crazy amount of money that's going into this. So like I said, I'm just kind of trying to break all this down and see how it works, how it's all going to play out. And one of the reasons I started looking into it is because the stimulus check, that's why a lot of people were excited about it, and to get their $1,200 or more. I actually wasn't sure if I qualified, primarily because I am self-employed. And, and I do owe the IRS some money. So I was like, well, do I even apply for this? But everybody said to go apply for. So like, I signed up like the very last day you could for the direct deposit deal. I think it was May 13th. So I went ahead and did it. And that's actually what led to this video, because I started researching on my own. And there's so much conflicting information out there. Even if you go to the IRS website, there's not a lot of information. And I'll provide links to those to the Get My Payment site and to the FAQs, just because there's just tons and tons of reading to do there, and you really don't get anywhere. Some of the pages haven't been updated in like 2 months, so we really don't know what's going on with that. But like I said, that's why I'm making this video. But moving forward, this new CARES Act is supposed to be able to provide up to $6,000 per household. That's a little more than what they got in the CARES Act, but and that's going to kind of change as far as like dependents. For instance, the CARES Act didn't include adult child. The new HEROES Act is supposed to include adult child, or adult dependents. I apologize. But that's kind of some of the other differences too. Another hot topic that a lot of people were talking about was hazard pay. A lot of these essential workers were putting their life in the line just to kind of help alleviate that. We're talking like doctors, nurses, frontline medical personnel, police officers, firefighters, social workers, grocery store clerks, postal workers, childcare, and cafeteria workers. So with this new HEROES Act, they're proposing a $13 an hour raise, up to $10,000. There are a couple, and that's if they make less than $200,000 per year, or $5,000 total if they make more than $2,000 a year. I guess the only problem I saw with it was it's going to be paid for 60 days after the pandemic ends. Which, when are they going to like fly a flag or say something that, hey, this thing ended? But also too, they're going to be distributed by your employers. So the employer has to apply for the government for the hazard pay, and that's going to be given to the employee after they deduct taxes and all other stuff from that. So yeah, that sounds good, but it may be a little more complicated than we thought. Another thing people were worried about is unemployment benefits. With this new HEROES Act, they're going to extend it all the way until March 31st, looks like it said. So, and supposedly they're also going to extend it to gig workers, independent contractors, part-time workers and self-employed, which is a huge majority of the United States. So maybe that's going to help more people and kind of help things go and help small businesses get more customers if more people have more money. Another thing people were talking about was student loan forgiveness. So the CARES Act did suspend interest and payments through September 30th. The HEROES Act would extend that for 1 year more. And those are through federal programs, but supposedly with this new legislation, this new bill, it's going to also extend to private loan holders. So as you know, that's a big majority of student loans. So it's going to hopefully help a lot more people. Some of the things that a lot of the conservatives don't like, it is going to also include to international students, undocumented immigrants, students, and DACA students. So that was kind of one of the hot points of why they didn't want the bill as is. Another thing that people were worried about is mortgage relief. So this bill is going to provide $75 billion for household assistance. That way they can kind of help prevent mortgage defaults, property foreclosures, just the cycle of events that happens when people get behind on their mortgage. So that's what this is kind of help cover some of those mortgage loans, so that we're not having all these foreclosures and negative fallout that happens from that. So previously it wasn't really included in that, so that they're just kind of do with, especially with these like federally mortgage-backed loans. Now it's going to be able to help more people with that, supposedly. So we'll all see how it all plays out. And another thing people wanted was a debt collection freeze. So if that was one of the things you wanted, it's probably not going to be on there. It may or may not, but we'll kind of see how it all plays out. But I guess if there's any questions you had about it, go ahead and leave it in the comments. If there's something they missed, something they shouldn't have, something they should have, leave that in the comments. I'd like to know your opinion. All right, thanks. Bye.